What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of Love and Ooh, no, it's not. It ain't Love and Hip Hop. Growing Up Hip Hop. LA season 14 episode, whatever. They decided to. I told y'all they smashing these seasons together when they clearly are two separate seasons, but whatever. It also seems like they're trying to get through this season really quickly. I think that because they're showing back-to-back episodes. Last week they did 2 episodes at one time, and I said, okay, that's the premiere. Maybe that's how they're gonna, they do the premiere. But then this week they did the same thing. They put 2 hours together, and then they spliced in this live segment with Sherry Shepherd. Now I don't know if this is their way of trying to build buzz and get instant feedback. It was sort of like a reunion show, but an instant. Like you watch the episode, and then they would have these segments where you could actually call in live or text or tweet and ask questions of the cast as you were seeing it on the show, which was actually a pretty decent idea. But it would have been better if it was a 1 hour episode, because this episode was forever. Like, I started watching it last night and I stopped it so I could watch some other stuff because my brain it was too much. It was just too much. It was clearly 2 separate episodes that they smashed together. So whatever. I'm just going to go. I might be all over the place because, again, it was a lot of damn information. A lot of different storylines were going on. So I'm going to just go. I'm going to just do the best I can, y'all. But we start the episode off where we left off last week with Dame and Boogie sort of having a sit down or what have you. And y'all know Dame is an asshole. Like, Dame is going to give it to you straight with no chaser. He has his own way of looking at things, his own way of processing life and the norms of life and what should and shouldn't be and all of that good stuff. And I'm not saying he's always wrong. It's just Dame Dash is just real special that way. Boogie's biggest thing is that he feels like his father's doing it for the camera. But what I think Boogie heard, because this is what I heard, was I did use the camera, but I used it as my last resort because I didn't know what else to do. And he was like, he even said, I've been doing this for years. And see, if you read between the lines, you hear some things. So one of the things that we heard, Boogie keep talking about how he been sober, and how his father's just tripping, and he don't want to talk about what happened at the 7-Eleven and all this other stuff. And then come to find out, he did relapse. And he probably relapsed with that whole 7-Eleven incident. So stop acting like people are crazy, Boogie, when they have concern or when they saying, look, something happened, this went on, this, that, and the other, because clearly there's some shit here, right? So stop tripping. Stop acting like everybody crazy. And then Dame said, if I knew what to do, if I could have figured this out, I would have done it when you were 18 years old. So again, it sounds like there have been some issues or some concerns as far as Boogie going back to when he's 28 now. So that's 10 years of this. And we know that if you go back to the first season of Love and Hip Hop, Boogie was actually living in New York and he was coming out to visit. He wasn't coming out to move to LA, if I remember correctly. Or was he coming? No, he was coming out, but he didn't know how long he was going to stay. That's what it was. He was moving to LA, but he was like, I'm not sure. Because remember, he had a girlfriend in New York at the time. So anyway, but at a certain point, Dame was like, we miss you. He was like, I miss the family too. And you saw the walls starting to crumble a little bit. They hugged and everything, and Boogie said, he said, can you please just not, just not do it for the camera. And Dame was like, all right, but if you fuck up again, I'm gonna go to the camera. He was like, that's how I get you. And the first time I heard that, I was like, that's real petty. What do you mean that's how I get you? But then when I listened, what he was saying was, that's how I can get you here. That's how I can get to you. That's how I can have... Because like he said at the beginning, the only reason why you're here right now is because they're paying you. And I'm going to take advantage of the fact that you're getting a paycheck out of this. And then something else was said. Oh, I'm going to lose it now. Something else was said. Damn. Okay. Anyway, Damon said something else too that I thought was interesting. Later on in the episode, because again, I can't do scene for scene. I just got to go down stuff. Later on, we saw a really good scene between Dame Dash and Master P, and that's how you know some of this shit is real. Like, you could clearly, some of this stuff is set up, but some of this stuff I tell y'all all the time, when reality TV meets reality. So You saw when Master P and Dame were talking, and Dame, he's at a book. Dame had he came out with a book, Culture Vultures, and so they were at his book signing. We'll get back to that because some other things went down at at that event. But the one thing I wanted to address from that was when he went to Master P and was like, "Yo, I saw what you did and I appreciate it." I almost got teary eyed right now. Why I do that? Whew. Okay, I just thought it was really touching. First of all, I thought it was touching last year when we saw Master P really give it to him. He came at Boogie straight with no chaser and was like, "If you were my son, this is how I would handle it, and you need to stop disrespecting your father, and you need to stop." Oh God, ooh, why am I? Y'all, Okay, real talk, real talk, real talk. It's been a hard couple of weeks for me, and I didn't know what was going on with me. I was like, why am I feeling? What's going on with me? And I was talking to my cousin / best friend the other day, and I was talking to her about how I was feeling and what was going on with me, and I'm just feeling real, just feeling real down. I don't like to use the word depressed because I think it's an overused word, but okay, maybe that's where I was, and she said this how when people are family and they really really close to you and they real family, I mean she family anyway, but she's still like my best friend. She said, "What month is this?" And before I didn't have to think about nothing else. I said, Mickey's birthday. Mickey is my brother who passed away 6 years ago. I always get really funky in January because that's his birthday month. And I always get really funky towards the end of October because that's when he died. But I don't always consciously make the connection. She made the connection. So I think maybe when I'm saying this father-son stuff, maybe that's where, I don't know. But I really was like, got teary-eyed just a second ago. Like, I really did. And trust me, Dame Dash and Master P don't make me teary-eyed. But I think just that whole, my brother dealt with substance abuse. So maybe that's that whole concept of just trying to save somebody's child, right? And how more, y'all, God darn, how more black men really need to just step up and be there for each other. And even when it ain't your child. More men, period. Fuck it. And even when it ain't your child. And so I just thought that was a real moment last year. And I thought that was a real moment when Dame went to Master P and was like, "Yo, thank you. Like, I appreciate what you did. I appreciate that you..." Oh my God. I appreciate you talking to him, and I saw it. He saw it on the show, which again tells me that Master P did it for the right reasons because he didn't do it and call Dame and was like, "Yo, it was like, I did this because I did this for me." All right, so y'all, this is crazy. I don't believe this. Whew, let me get myself together. Okay. So anyway, I just thought that was deep. I thought that was real touching, and I didn't even mean to spend almost 10 minutes talking about that. All right. Then we see, I gotta remember what happened next. I think Angela, she's, the event for this episode is Angela is doing an event at a racetrack in California for her brand. She has a fitness brand called Built Not Bought, which I thought is a cute name and a deep name, especially with what's going on. We see what's going on in the world right now. A lot of people are buying bodies. I ain't even gonna front. If I had a lot of disposable income, there might be a few things I'd buy. I probably wouldn't buy. I would throw away, but that's another conversation. And so she's inviting Romeo. They're flirting, and they doing what Romeo and Angela do or whatever. And she says, she says that she thinks that maybe that she hasn't talked to her sister since the whole pastry conversation, that she thinks that maybe she's feeling some kind of way about it, but that she's cool. She's not upset about it or anything. She's not, feeling no kind of way about it. And then we see Vanessa getting packages from pastry. She got a pair of matching shoes for her and her daughter. And she said that she took the job. She said she called pastry back and told them that Angela would not be a part of it. And if they were still wanted to move forward without Angela, that she was willing to do it. And they took her up on it. And so she's working for pastry now. And she's worried about how Angela might feel about it, or if Angela feels some kind of way. They're sisters. They'll be all right. Angela ain't missing a coin. I do think there's a part of their heart that belongs to the brand, and that she would probably feel some kind of way for her to do it by herself without her. But I also think that at the end of the day, I think Angela will understand that nothing was done out of malice or spite. It was just, look, I'm just trying to secure my bag. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you got your hustle going on. You doing what you doing. I'm trying to secure my bag and do what I'm doing. And so she did take the job at Pastry. She's the new creative director. Well, I say new whenever they film this. New creative director. And so her event, excuse me, this episode is going to be it's sort of like a Kentucky Derby type thing, you know. So we'll get there. We'll get there. So the other big storyline this episode is, if you've been following social media a few months back, it actually happened when the last season was actually coming on, with Peppa and Drew, what was his name? Drew, whatever, her bodyguard slash boyfriend, and like the whole thing went down with him having his ex-wife, who was pregnant, like about to pop pregnant, going on social media basically saying that Pep stole her husband and that she's a homewrecker. She's 9 months pregnant, and Pep came in and took her man. And so that's, you know, of course, you know, they doing the whole, everybody getting a text message like, oh, did you see this? Oh, did you see this? Oh, you know, and everybody's waiting to see what Pep wants to say and how Pep's going to react or whatever. Egypt wants to respond. She's like, that's my mom. I got to have her back. If it were me, she would have my back. And, of course, even though Sam told her, leave it alone, stay out of it. TT told her, leave it alone, stay out of it. What did Egypt do? As soon as she got a chance, she jumped on the internet, said her piece. And then everybody started dragging her, telling her, well, your mama's a homewrecker. Your mama's a bitch. Your mama's a hoe. Like, you know, you can't win against trolls. Like, you can't win. So, stop trying. You know what I mean? Then we had this scene. You know how they keep trying to play with us. Like, we're not falling for the okie doke anymore. That supposedly, you see Angela and Rome, you know, behind closed doors, having these conversations, these innuendo type conversations, as far as yeah, you like that? You want it with body oil? I mean, it's tight, isn't it? It's real tight. You know, basically they were getting massages because Angela said that Rome sounds like he's tired, he's run down, so she was trying to give him a spa day, help him feel better, help him get himself together. She even said something about going on a vacation. I mean, he said something about a vacation, and she was like, oh, are we bays now? You know, so, you know, they doing what they do. Y'all know, Angela and Rome, this is the whole thing for all of the seasons, is this whole flirting thing back and forth between them. I think both of them have feelings for each other. I think the stars just haven't aligned, and at the same time in the same place. And I also think that they like this game. I think they like the game, and I also think there's probably an element of being afraid to cross the line and ruining the friendship, which is a real fear. You know, some people can cross the line and things work out and it's great. Some people cross the line, it doesn't work out, and then the friendship is gone. You know, and some people can cross the line, it doesn't work out, and they can go back to being friends. So, alright, JoJo's funny. JoJo is just comic relief. He don't really have no big storyline. He is just there, y'all. He is there getting a check. But we see where, you know, him and Angela are out, you know, shopping. And he's basically talking to Angela about, you know, basically Vanessa, you know, you need to talk to Vanessa, you know, she doing what she got to do type of thing. And the whole Romeo thing, she was like, you know, I really think Romeo is kind of down right now, going through some things. You know, could you talk to him? And JoJo was like, no, okay, you know, I talked to him. Like, I don't think that JoJo and Rome are, like, big friends, like, but okay. Alright, so here's this fake scene. Social media is blowing up. Let me say this. I follow Pep on Instagram. Now, she's not no everyday type post type person, but she does get on her social media, and she does post on social media, and it's not a publicist because they're personal pictures. Well, I shouldn't say it's not. I don't feel like it's a publicist because it's not like always just ads and advertisements. It's personal pictures that's up there. Not to mention, something on this level, people would have called her. The minute the shit started blowing up, people would have called her. So TT goes to talk to Pep, and Pep says, acting like she don't know nothing about what's going on social media about the whole Andre thing. She's like, what? Me? They're talking about me online? Well, what about me? What did I do? Why are they talking about me? And she's really acting like she don't know nothing. Come on, stop it. I would have preferred the scene if TT had walked in and Pep had been like, yo, I'm real pissed off right now. And then y'all went from there. But you're not going to sit here and make me think that ain't nobody called Pep the minute the social media started blowing up. The shit was on the Shade Room and everywhere else. And you mean to tell me everybody else text message blowing up except for Pep's? Stop it. Stop it. But anyway, we're going to let it go. That's the scene they set. And basically Pep was like, look, the baby was born. Yes, I feel some kind of way. You know, I understood walking in the door that he had a baby coming and there was going to be some adjustments that me made. But yeah, we are dealing with that, you know. And she was like, I'm not no homewrecker. I didn't steal anybody's man. She was like, he was single. I mean, he was not single. They had separated before the two of them started sleeping together. Now, let me be honest with you. I don't necessarily believe that. I do believe they're separated, but I don't necessarily believe that the separation happened. That I believe Pep and him went public after the separation was final or official. I don't necessarily believe that they wasn't messing around before the separation was official. But that's my business. That's just my opinion. Whatever. But Pep was basically like, look, I've been in this game a long time. I know how it is. I'll be alright. I know how to ride the wave. It's going to be cool. It's going to be whatever. Okay. So, they're at the racetrack. Boogie can't come. He said, look, tell Angela I'm sorry. But at least he texted his dad and told his dad, I'm not going to be able to make it. Because, again, that's more than what he was doing before. He wasn't even texting people. He just wasn't showing up. So, he said he's in the studio with Brianna laying some tracks. And, you know, he said in his confessional that basically he would much rather be on his grind in the studio, laying tracks, working on his art, than at the racetrack around alcohol and, you know, just other things. He said it's just something that he's doing to just preserve his sobriety. Okay, I can respect that. Like I said, my thing is I don't never have no problem with somebody not showing up. I got a problem with somebody not telling me they're not showing up. Because shit happens. Part of the reason why my phone is on right now while I'm doing this review is because I'm waiting for a phone call or a text about something, right? So, it is what it is. Because people... That's what polite society does. Anyway, so they're at the racetrack. There's a part Romeo shows up, so you know Angela and Romeo, they doing their flirt thing, whatever. Angela look really cute, but she usually does. I like Angela's got a nice little style about her. Vanessa's there, and there's a point where they go down to the winner's circle, and Vanessa only takes a few people, but she doesn't invite Vanessa. And Vanessa feels like she wasn't invited because of the whole tension between her and the pastry situation. There was one point where she was asking Angela questions and Angela was sort of blowing her off. One thing I've learned about Angela, even going back to Run's house, Angela is very passive aggressive. She's not a very in-your-face person, but she has her ways of letting you know when she's happy or not happy about something. And she was letting Vanessa know she was feeling some kind of way at that moment. JoJo went to the winner's circle, and then when they talked about it, she was like, it wasn't done intentionally. I wasn't trying to hurt you. Basically, though, it was just, I could only take a certain number of people, and you were there with your friend, and I didn't want you to have to put away from your friend. And she was like, but you didn't even ask me. Like, you just turned and left. I didn't even know where y'all were going. I didn't know anything. You just left. And, you know, I was like, it was intentional. That's your way. That's how you deal with stuff. You're very passive-aggressive, but it's cool. That's what Angela does. Her and Rome were flirting the whole time. Looked like they had a really good time. It looked like it was a really nice event. Vanessa and JoJo talked a little bit. And JoJo told her, like, look, you got to do what you got to do for your own hustle. Like, Angela's going to be Angela. Angela's going to take care of her bag. We know that about her. So you got to take care of your bag. And it's going to be what it's going to be. And like I said, they're sisters. So they're fine. You know, at the end of the day, they're going to be fine. They're sisters. Okay? So that is pretty much where the first hour ended. So that's episode 1. I should make this a separate video so this won't be such a long review. But we're going to keep it moving. But I'm going to make this real quick. Brianna and Boogie are in the studio working on music. It sounds like it's pretty decent. But Brianna, You know what? I am going to make this a separate video because we already at 19 minutes. I'm just going to do a part 1 and a part 2 because I do have a lot to say about the second part. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I'm going to do a part 2 because I don't know why they made this a 2-hour episode. It's a lot to talk about. But you see Brianna and Boogie in the studio, and Brianna said, you know, there definitely is some sexual tension here, and it seems like it might be. I don't know. Because I can't read Boogie. I just can't read him, so I don't know if it's sexual tension on his part or if it's just him being nervous because he knows she likes him. Like, I really don't know. But she was talking to him about how Dame was sort of telling her she needed to have 6 records ready and she needed to do this and she needed to do that. And Boogie was like, oh, so that's your mentor now? And she was like, one of them. And Boogie was like, okay. So then she was like, you know, but I don't know how I feel about that because I don't like people telling me what I have to do. You know, I don't like feeling like I'm selling my art. Like, I feel like a prostitute. Like, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. And he was like, I mean, that's my father. Like, you went to him. You know what you were getting. She was like, yeah, you're right. But my other thing, too, is I hear people say that all the time. And maybe because I'm not an artist, I don't necessarily understand that mindset. But what are you doing it for if you're not doing it to share it with the world and for people and to share it with the world and you make a living off of it? Like, I get it that you don't want to necessarily sell out. There's a difference between selling out and selling your art. In my mind, selling your art is, I think of somebody like a Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu who makes what she wants to make, when she wants to make it, and how she wants to make it. Has she made some commercial songs? Absolutely she has. But a lot of her stuff, I think it's just, look, this is where I smoked me some weed, I went into the studio, and this is what came out, and like it or love it. Hate it, you know what I mean? Then I think I'm not going to call another name, but then I think of another artist who I feel like you make what you think is going to sell. To me, that's selling out. That's how I take selling out. I don't take selling out as you selling your music. But again, I'm not an artist from that point of view. I'm not that type of person, so I don't see it that way. But anyway, last but not least, the kids have a conversation with Pep, basically like, look, what's up, what's good, what you need us to do. Wherever you need us to be, that's where we gonna be. Sam don't trust him. Sam like, look, you know, I don't really think that this dude is on the up and up. I think he playing games with Pep. I'm gotta keep my eye on him. And I'm like, motherfucker, we still keeping our eye on you. You keep your eye on him, and we still giving you the side eye because we still ain't figured out what you up, what's up, what's good with you yet. Her son was just like, look. You know, her son is just real calm. He ain't no rah-rah type dude, but I do believe he would get down for his mama. Oh, the other thing, rewind real quick, and then we're going to end it here, and we'll start the second part. There was a part of the racetrack where Dame talked to Tyron, and Tyron is named after his dad. Come to find out, Tyron's dad was like a big-time drug dealer in New York. They hinted at it. If you read between the lines, you know that's what they were saying, because Dame was like, you know, it's interesting, you know, your father is the godfather of rap, and then, you know, he was like, Egypt's father is the godfather of rap, which of course is Tretch, and your father was the godfather in my other life, you know, he was real respected. And Tyron said, yeah, you know, it's funny, like, I really didn't know my dad, I really didn't grow up with my dad, but I know who my dad was, and my dad was big time, you know, in the other lifestyle, you know, he was big time doing other things. And if you know anything about Dame Dash other life was drug dealing. So the way he said it was basically like, Pep, you had the best of both worlds. That wasn't nice. I'm going to stop. Rumor was, though, back in the day, those of y'all that are my age and y'all know what I'm talking about. Back in the day, rumor was that Terrence's dad was dude from the Fat Boys. Remember him and Pep was dating? And then she popped up pregnant? And I always thought that's who his father was for a long time. I mean, I knew not. I mean, I knew recently. I mean, I didn't just find out last week that wasn't his dad. But for a long time, that's who I thought Tyron's father was. Anyway, this is going to be part 1. I'm going to go ahead and upload part 2. Because like I said, this is too much. And I do have shit to say about the second half. Alright. See y'all in about 2 seconds. Bye. Peace.